Hello everyone, welcome back to your favorite youth and school sports show called Sportify. My name is Enzo Amole and I'm super excited because today we are joined by our very awesome guest here, and his name is Titus Mwahafa. He's a technical advisor for sports for development in Africa. And before we continue to the interview, if you want to see what my zone is all about, please watch the following video. Mr. Titus, welcome to the show, and we're very glad to have you here. Can you please tell us, or can you please share about more your professional experience as a sport advisor, technical advisor?
Thank you for having me. My name is Titus Mwahafa. I'm a technical advisor at GIZ Sports for Development in Africa. Professionally, I'm also a basketball player. I'm also a founder of a basketball school called the Technical Basketball Academy, and also I'm also an S4D instructor. That's for short for Sports for Development Instructor in the country. Wow.
What a whole description you have there. Why did you decide to do sport? You mentioned that you are also a professional basketball player, and tell us, why did you choose to play basketball?
So my journey into sports started a long time from primary school, where I started off with football and athletics. I was a part of the great Tobias Hainyeko Primary School in Katutura.
Yes.
I then shortly moved to Emmanuel Shifidi. That's where I got introduced to basketball. Shortly at Emmanuel Shifidi, I left and joined the Commerce High School, where I was part of the founding members of the Commerce High School basketball team.
Yes.
Then that's how my basketball journey started. While at Emmanuel Shifidi, I played for both the school team and national team at both under 17 and under 20 levels.
Yes.
And then while at Commerce High School, I featured, which I think it was my best basketball experience, because I was part of founding that team there because the school didn't have basketball. And then what we did there was I played basketball regionally, nationally, and then I started also coaching because I was the only one with basketball experience. So that's when my basketball experience really started as a player.
Wow. That's quite interesting. I mean, I also want to play basketball one day. What would you advise me to do as an upcoming basketball lover?
Well, basketball is more, not to be biased of course, but basketball is more, it's a fun sport, and it's available now both from primary school to high school and all the way up to professional, which is the men's league or KBA. So basketball has grown over the years and took leaps and bounds to actually make sure that everyone who wants to play basketball can access it, because it's actually available. If you go down into Katutura at your UN Plazas or the Katutura complex now, you will see people playing basketball, or in the courts in Olympia, people are playing basketball. So it's actually available. You can start playing it socially or professionally.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people are really getting interested in basketball nowadays. And this year was quite a hectic year. We look at it as Corona hit every corner of the country, and sports has been on a pullback for quite some time. What were you up to during this time, and how did it affect you as a sport lover?
Before I answer that question, but maybe I can just fill in some blanks there. It's through basketball. I was then noticed by the Namibian Sports Commission.
Yes.
And then I did my internship there with the Namibian Sports Commission, featured with the Namibian National Youth Games, which are also taking place now in December. We were part of the original team that actually started the games in 2018. And then through that, I ended up as a technical advisor at GIZ. That way we started the program called the Integrated Physical Education and School Sports. Now, with the Corona outbreak, it really put a halt in most of our activities, both from sports and what we do at GIZ. So what we did in the IPESS program, which is the Integrated Physical Education and School Sports, is we actually came up with a plan to actually take physical activity to the people, because everyone was locked down, schools were closed, there was no access to sports was put on hold. So what we did is we designed digital games to take it and share it with our audience, which are the multipliers, the teachers, the kids to actually have physical activities while at home with the kids, to share them during this digital lesson and digital transformation that the country was going through, to make sure that we are still contributing to a healthy nation, because sports in itself contributes to a healthy nation in such that every child that is active in sports reduces the health budget. So if you're active, you will live a longer lifespan. You are more likely to live longer than the normal person. So for every child that's active in sports, that reduces the health risk. So we as the GIZ Sports for Development Team Namibia and the Integrated Physical Education with our partners, the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Sports, decided to embark on a strategy to actually bring physical activity to your doorstep. So we designed a few exercises for teachers, for parents to actually continue with physical activities, come up with physical challenges at home, where our participants and multiplier took part in this while sports was on the lockdown.
Wow, that's actually nice. And from my understanding, the IPESS program Advocacy was launched last week, and we noticed you gave the school learners of Van Rijn a very good activity. Can you just explain the activity for us?
Yes, I can, but maybe to actually give a light onto what Sports for Development is and what sport is. Sport is what we know, the professional, the elite. Sports for Development is more inclusive. It's about every child and actually participation of every Namibian child. So what we do in Sports for Development is we take a sports skill, link it to a life skill, in order to actually have connected messages and give lifelong learning to kids. So for example, what we did at the advocacy campaign was trying to educate kids to test the knowledge and their understanding of the coronavirus, how it's spread, how it's transmitted, and how you can avoid it. So the game is linked that at the end of the day we're teaching them a football skill, which is dribbling, and at the end of the day we also wanted to test their knowledge on corona. So while they are learning their sports skill, we are using sports as an education, as a tool to educate young Namibians on the importance on their knowledge of coronavirus while doing that. So we do is we use sports as a tool to actually make sure that we are building and contributing to youth that will contribute to a better society and a better standing. Basically taking education away from the classroom, bringing it to a sports field.
For you guys to see what Mr. Mwahafa just explained now, please watch the following video.
Okay. You don't touch the ball. Pass the ball to the next person. Don't go from the line again behind.
Isolate.
Now you lift the ball, wash your hand, and then they say isolate. Next. Step on the okay. Leave it there. We also need to isolate. Some isolate in there. And the third block is there. Don't rush, take it. Okay, you can go. Next. Has everyone gone that side? Let's go again.
Don't touch the ball. If you touch the ball, you self-isolate.
The ball has fallen. Anyway. Thank you. You need to go self-isolate. Wash your hands and self-isolate.
That was Mr. Titus Mwahafa, and thank you so much for coming through. You shared a lot of information with us in regards with sports, and now we know a lot of things. Can you just probably give a shout out to anyone or the viewers, or just any last words from you?
Thank you very much for having me. When it comes to sports and what we do in Sports for Development, I call Sports for Development the evolution of sports, because we are not just using sports to actually create professional, we are using sports to actually to build contributing members of society. And sports offers us that platform because it's engaging, it's inclusive, and both the boy child and girl child can have a voice to address some of the social ills that we are facing in the nation. Only through sports will a girl child be able to team up with a boy child, and then their opinion is heard as an equal member, or as an equal. So that's what we are trying to do in Sports for Development, and Sports for Development is the future. So let's keep an eye out for Sports for Development, especially for the IPESS program and what we are doing at the Integrated Physical Education School Sports. It's spearheaded by the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Sports, and supported by the GIZ Sports for Development program. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming through.
Yeah,
with the IPESS Advocacy program that was launched last week, we also take a look at the Minister of Sports, Youth and National Service, Agnes Tjongarero, talking at the event.
Members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, I am really glad, and it's a pleasure to be here with you, all of you today, to officiate at the launch of the Integrated Physical Education and Sports School Sport Advocacy campaign. A few years ago, or a long time, let me say maybe a long time ago, physical education and physical activity was an integral part of daily life and also of the school life. Unfortunately, in the name of progress, sometimes we don't understand progress very well also. Unfortunately, in the name of progress, we have chipped away at the physical activities. And it became as if the inactivity became a normal. And it is not. It's because of that inactivity that we are having so many diseases around us. Pursuant to our quest for sport development, the ministry has concluded a historic terms of reference agreement with the Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture, aimed at refocusing our efforts on physical education and sport, school sports. Special emphasis is here placed on the youth, because at school level, it's not us the aged, it's the youth who are at the school level. Those are learners. It is through the prescript of this agreement that today we are marking another milestone in our long journey of repositioning physical educational and school sport by launching this campaign. Director of Proceedings, I've been reliably informed that both ministries, with the assistance of GIZ, are in the final process of validating inputs and comments from key stakeholders towards finalization of this draft IPESS policy. This advocacy campaign is set against the backdrop of this very important policy, which will be a first for Namibia, and the campaign will involve a set of public activities targeted to create support and awareness for the policy and IPESS program in general. Director of Proceedings, this campaign represents a huge milestone for the two ministries' efforts of improving the status of physical education and school sport, and we believe that this program will become the bedrock of our entire development continent.
And that's it from us today. Thank you so much for everyone who has joined us. And if you guys have any news, sport news, please do not hesitate to contact me at enzo@myzone.com.na or all on our social media platforms. See you guys next time, same place.